What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest of cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shant Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
And Daniel Acevedo.
How's it going, guys?
What's going on? So, welcome back to the show. Again, Monday and Tuesday, our topics. Wednesday, discussion. Thursdays, Ask a CISSP. I should be on with Lynn Dom from WESIS. And then we also have Fridays, everything else. So movies, sports, games, all that good stuff. But without further ado, I give it to Shannon.
All right, everybody. So this article actually comes from silentpush.com. It doesn't have who it's written by on here, but the title of it is Hunting Payroll Pirates, Silent Push Tracks HR Redirect Phishing Scam. So this is something we've talked about a couple times in the past, where they've kind of gone into some key findings and some things on how it's getting done and what they found through this Silent Push website here, right? So what they're doing, what they're doing is they're going in and they're kind of tricking people into going into their HR portals, right? And what they're doing is they're bringing them in with these malicious search ads, right? So they're creating these search ads, Google search ads, and things of that nature. Targets with brand keywords and things of that nature, and they're luring unsuspecting victims, they say, right? So, and they're doing this using the Workday software, right? So Workday, I had to look this up because I know of Workday, but I didn't know how prevalent it is. And Workday is more geared towards your medium and large businesses, right? So Workday has about 9,500 clients, right? So that's just clients that they have. So this is companies we're talking about, and we're talking about medium to large companies, right? So we're talking about companies that have 500 to thousands of people, right, that are potentially affected by this, right, if they're just not paying attention, right? So that's a lot of people that it's going after, that it's kind of trying to make this work, these payroll pirates, right? So what they do is they create the malicious search ads, though, then they go portal phishing, right? So employees, they do the Google search, they log into the phishing site, right? Again, because they're not paying attention to what they're looking at, and they think it's something that's accurate, right? Gives access to the nefarious actors, right? Then they harvest the credentials. And then what they start doing is they start changing banking details, right? Because what Workday does, it does a lot of your HR and your financial stuff, right? So you can go on there, and the self-service actions for it allow you to set up your bank account for where you're going to get your direct deposit, things of that nature. And they go in there and they change it, right? Now, what's crazy about it? Now, I don't have payroll. I don't use payroll. Or excuse me, I don't have payroll. I have Workday. I don't use it, so I don't know if it sends you an email or something, like if any changes are made. Which, if it has that option, it'd be a good thing to do, right? Because if it's an action you did not initiate, you would hope they don't go all the way through with changing everything, right? Like maybe it goes to an email that they set up. Hopefully, they miss a step to where you actually get notified. May not happen though, right? Because they have your credentials, they can go in there and change everything they need to. But they change the banking details. Once that happens, payday comes, and all of a sudden you notice you're not getting paid, right? It's kind of late in the game at that point, right? You've already let this time go to where it's going to be hard to go through and try to figure out what has happened here, right? There's investigation that needs to happen and all this, but they're already, laughing all the way to the bank, you know what I mean, or to the Bitcoin vault, you know what I mean. But yeah. So this is one of those, like, that we talked about this last week as well, Chris and I. You got to pay attention to what you are logging on to, right? Because that's mostly what it is people just not paying attention when they go to a site that's just not legitimate, you know what I mean, and they've been done, right? So this is why I'm not on social media, right? You can't trick me with sites I'm not looking at anyway. You know what I mean? But Daniel, what's your thoughts on this?
I mean, just for the viewers, I get tickled with names. And after 2 weeks, I come back to Salt Typhoon and Payroll Pirates. I mean, I feel like I have the red carpet rolled out for me. This is amazing. Thank you so much. But I guess, my hat off first off, or I guess headphones off to the Silent Push analysts. The article is amazing. If you haven't read it, please go check it out. They do a really good breakdown of how the attack goes. They have some really good graphics so you can grasp it. Real high level, real easy to follow. They did a really good job. Now, for the attack itself, I mean, phishing is evolved. It's so over-encompassing now. You got phishing, voice phishing, targeted attacks, thumb drives in the parking lot. You have it all. There's so many different avenues. And what's happening with this one, once a user actually logs into that website, they have full control of their username and password, but more than that, they have control of the session, and then they have control of them being able to log into that site to change anything and everything from, getting notifications when you log in or don't log in, getting notifications if you've changed anything. So it's almost probably the phishing attempt happens, the person logs in, they steal their credentials, they run a script, they change all those settings, and there's probably really no problem for them to even know that that's going to happen until they say, hey, I didn't get paid this month. What's going on here? So it sucks for them. But, Shannon or Ryan, I need you to keep me sane on this one, because what I'm about to say is going to sound kind of mean, but I don't know why users are Googling their company's portal login sites in 2024. Why are you not just logging into your company's website or VPNing in from your company's the laptop you have and going in through the network or through the company itself?
Or have an app, right? So like mostly payroll systems have apps for your phone.
Yeah. So I feel like, am I crazy here? Like, why are we still doing this? I mean, it's not that we're not educating the people. People know about these things already. So it's either they're not bookmarking it or they're too lazy to like go to their company's website. And then, it's a simple as best. Like my wife says, I think I'm going to use that phrase more, but they're using Google Ads, creating phishing websites that are either sophisticated or not sophisticated. And then they're getting these people to pretty much clickbait. So, I mean, I feel bad for them because nobody wants to lose their money. But on the other hand, it's kind of almost like a self-inflicting wound at this point. But Ryan, what do you think? I want you to look at this, right? The one thing that I did notice from this malicious attack is kind of crazy. The URLs kind of seem to be all over the place. Some of them are really sophisticated. You can barely tell. Some of them, you like just by looking at it, like there's misspelling. You can tell that's a website you're not supposed to go to. Some of the websites look really well done and look like an actual like login website. Some of them look like they were half done and just left on the side. I don't know what to make of that. Is it just that it almost looks like there's sheer volume. They're just trying to spray and pray and get as many different companies as possible, or is there more to it?
So no, I think you're definitely headed down the right direction. And so some people also Google, right, to get to the website to search, when they could probably just put it in their search bar to begin with, what they're looking for. It's a generational thing. You know what I mean? So when I was active duty, I think we're all active duty when this happened. The MyPay was spoofed. So like the military pay website, there was a fake one out there that was a top of the search, and we were getting got that way. So I think I use the app. I don't have Workday for payroll, luckily. So I use the app in this case. So I think that's a lot more secure, and it stops you from having to search it up all the time. Because if Workday is anything like the one I use, which is also pretty prevalent, it also has very specific URLs, right? So you can't really go through the intranet site for my company to get to it. You have to have it bookmarked, which I do. But if I am on a new system, I would have to search it up, and it would be pretty hard to find because it's the same name like Workday, but then / whatever irrational combination of characters to get me to my specific payroll portal. So at this, I can give some leeway to users because maybe they're logging in from a different system, or they just don't have the app, which I eventually got the app because I got tired of looking for it, right? So I give a little bit of leeway to it. And then again, I think it's generational. Like some people Google before they ask it a question. It kind of just is what it is for the time being. But yeah, again, I hate to give bad guys, their flowers, but this is it's a pretty good idea. And it's apparently working pretty well. My whole thing is when I initially saw it, I was like, oh, well, it'd be easy for payroll to pull that money back. So one of my first jobs when I came out here in the civilian world was at a private company, and they, after my 30-day notice, they still paid me, right? So I got my last check, then I got another check. So I contacted payroll and I was like, hey, was this an accident? Like, basically, can I keep this money? And they immediately said, thank you for bringing this to our attention. And they reversed it and put it right on my account. So they have the ability to do that, but it's a matter of how you catch it. Like my assumption is these pirates are, as soon as that money hits, it's already redirected somewhere else. They have to be pretty smart about it, so it can't be recalled, right?
I never get more. Like I never get more money. Like whenever it happened, Well, let me not say that. Whenever it happened in the military, it wasn't them going into my account and pulling it. It was you'll get that much less the next pay period, right? That's how they get it.
Yeah.
That's just how I understand it to be, right? But so two things. So, Daniel, you also learned your nickname this week. So you're dead on, Daniel, because you were dead on in what you're saying. Like, yes, that's accurate, right? But here's my question, right? And maybe it's me. Maybe I'm just overly cautious. I don't access anything sensitive unless it's from a device that I already know is being taken care of. Like, I don't go to any place public and log on to something and try to do that. So, like, anything I may need for payroll or for HR or anything like that is on a computer I already know is covered, right? Because I'm doing everything I need to do. Or my phone has an app that's constantly updated, right? Like, I will not access it from anything that I'm not sure about. But maybe that's just me, right? So the fact that you would go out and Google it and run into these, if people are doing that, yes, it can definitely happen, like you say it can.
So I'll give you an example. It's out here, right? The contractors, some contracting companies, they won't give, they don't have laptops. So let's say I'm working in the Navy, right? So I'm on the Navy's network, but I have to put my time in, do my time card, or I have to look at my payroll stuff. So then from there, from the whatever NNPINet or whatever the Navy's network is, I forget what it's called. From NIPR, essentially. From NIPR, you're going to log on to whatever, contractingcompany.com/whatever to go to the payroll. Now, if you don't know it, then you're going to Google what is, or the payroll, blah, blah, blah. And then usually what happens is you're going to have to still put in credentials and some kind of two-factor authentication token most of the times for good companies.
But if you're on a base or anything like that, there's a firewall rule in place to only allow certain things to go through. If it's not clear,
it's too allowed. So yeah.
So,
but phishing website,
you're on a network, right? But you're on a network to where more likely than not, black
it should block it.
Exactly.
Yeah. If it's a phishing website, it should block it. But that's an example. So then that will still apply. Let's say like I'm at my house and I have to log in from my personal computer to that company's portal to do the same thing. Then if I don't know it or I don't have it bookmarked, then I got to Google it, and that's how they get caught. Right? That's one example of how that would probably happen.
Yeah, because you have to think there's millions of employees, so they're probably only getting a handful of those, but even that handful by sheer volume is worth it. You're like, give me all that money, so I could buy one Bitcoin with it. Bitcoin's at like $100,000 right now.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, I had nothing so. This is a very side tangent, but my son reminds me all the time. He was he says it in a much kinder tone, but basically like, what were you doing when people were mining these coins? And to him, I always say, I just didn't pay attention. I just was not paying attention. I could probably have like a dozen coins.
Mm-hmm. Retired right now.
Retired, but I digress. But yes, so I think that this is a pretty fascinating scheme, and I'm hoping that people just pay better attention. I know it's not going to happen. So hopefully they crack down these websites to keep people safe from themselves. Because it would suck to wake up expecting a payday, that money not be there, and it can't be recalled because it's already been spent or transferred or something like that. Because if I was the company, I'd be like, well, that's between you and your bank. Like you obviously you put in a routing number, so that's not my problem. Contact X, Y, or Z. Yeah, they're not going to pay you twice. That's not going to happen. Most likely, unless you, I won't even say unless you're lucky, because no one is that lucky. No company is going to be like, yeah, I'll pay you again. You know what I mean? They're like, sorry to this man, or woman, or whomever. But definitely continue to check us out Monday through Friday. Monday, Tuesday are topics. Wednesday discussion. Thursdays Ask a CISSP. Fridays everything else. Hit us up at all of the social medias that go by your name, the other side of the firewall, the other side of the FW, or Ask CISSP. Hit me up personally. I'm at Rai Security Guy, pretty much on all the platforms, but LinkedIn is the easiest and best way to find me. And you, Daniel, where can they find you?
You can find me on LinkedIn under my name, Daniel Acevedo.
There it is. Stay safe. Stay secure.